YouTube, what's up guys? Hey, hope everyone's having a great day. We are going to be working on the Lotus Elise turboed. So I'm going to show you guys how to change oil on a Lotus. Mine's special because I have a Lotus Elise and then it's turboed. So same motor, it's a 2ZZ GE by Toyota. Reworked a little bit by Lotus and then installed into these cars. It's very similar to install or changing the oil on a CELICA GTS or on a Corolla XRS or a Pontiac Vibe. This same motor came with all of this, so very similar. The only difference is that the Lotus has a complete under tray. Also another difference is that when you jack up the car, it's a little bit difficult. I did an entire video of how to jack up a Lotus. If you guys want to see how to put a Lotus on jack stands, I'll link that down below. But the last video that you guys saw with my Lotus is that we fixed the oil leak on it. There was an oil leak on it. So thankful that I got that fixed. That was one of my biggest pet peeves, is that I knew it was leaking oil. That being said, let's go ahead and jump over to the Lotus and I'll show you how to change the oil on it. Hopefully this is helpful to you. This is a nice how-to video and this is a beautiful car. We're getting that much closer to putting this thing back on the road with the EXIGE front end. The turbo kit. This is going to be a pretty unique car. So let's go ahead and jump into it right now. If you guys have been waiting me to do the wheels, the tires are ordered. I'll do the video for that. This is going to be for the CELICA GTS. I'm also getting the kit to paint the wheels myself. So I'm really excited. I actually got the index cards. I'll show you guys how to paint these from this beat up to brand new. I'm excited to do that. As for the Lotus, the first thing you need is you need to get to the engine. How do you get to the engine? You have a key right here, like that, and you turn it actually to the right and it pops that open, and then you lift up this deck lid right here, and then there is your 2ZZ engine. Look at that, beautiful. So let me go ahead and put the little stand up right here. There's a kickstand. We will be reinstalling that over there. That is gonna be the under tray. So I'm going to show you guys how to install that on this video, and if you were to remove it to get to the oil, you would just do the same steps as I'm putting it on. That being said, also that the car is on jack stands with no wheels. You'll probably have wheels on. This is the jack mounting point. Here's the rear, and then there's the front, and then there's a sticker in the middle that you can use to find the jacking point right here. This is where you're going to put the jack. So that's how you lift up the car. That being said, let's go ahead and actually turn the car on so we can get the oil, the dirty oil, circulating. So we're gonna turn my little battery on. So I turn the battery switch on, and now we're gonna jump into the Lotus Elise Turbo. So I put the key in, and then I have to hit the unlock button real quick. So we'll hit that, and now it's unlocked. We'll hit the start button. And it starts right up. Now that the 2ZZ is on and getting warm, it's circulating, the oil pump is circulating the oil through there, getting all the junk, getting it all warmed up, getting it all mixed, so that when we go to change the oil, we can dump it out. That being said, I'm gonna let it warm up. It does not need to go to full temperature. You don't have to have it like, because on this one, it doesn't even show a temperature. It shows right here, and it'll actually show, it'll read a number. And right now it's not even showing a number, but it would read a number of what the Fahrenheit is, and it's not even on right now. So that means that I would, it doesn't have to turn that number on, but I'll leave it on for about 4 minutes, and then we'll go ahead and start removing the oil from the car. Now that the 2ZZ on the Lotus is warm, we're ready to change the oil. What products are we going to be using? This is a highly argumentative on every single car I've ever had. What is the best oil and what is the best filter? What are the best spark plugs? Best. I actually like Toyota OEM filters, and I had a bunch of them, but I guess I used them. I don't have any more. I must use them on my other car, my MR2, and on my CELICA. But that being said, I went to the store and I got one of these. This is an HP 1002. This is what Monkey Wrench Racing, MWR, sells on their website. It's pretty good. And then this is the oil that I've always used, Castrol Edge 5W30 is what you're going to want on here. Now, they use a lot of different things, but let me show you something real quick. This is the owner's manual. I have one. 5W40 is what it's saying. The viscosity is wrong. I don't use 5W40. I've seen people use all kinds of lubricants for it. 5W30 is what I've been running on turboed 2ZZ cars for a long time. So this is what I'm going to stick to. It works on all of them. This 5W30, I've seen 10s. You can look all over. You can see 0Ws. People use 0W40, 0W30s. 5W40 is what the owner's manual says. I recommend 5W30. I've used it on all 2ZZs. So what we're going to be using is Castrol Edge 5W30. I was actually hoping to show you I thought it would say it on here. I thought it would say the 40 on there. I knew that they said that, but I guess it doesn't say it on here. My CELICA and on my MR2, all of their oil caps say 5W30 on them. That's what it used, and I think it even says Castrol, to use Castrol on it. So that's kind of interesting. But that being said, first things you want to do is make sure that you can add more oil to it. So do lefty-loosey. That's a really big deal. Oh my gosh, look how brand new that is in there. That is crazy. This car is just brand new. Why do you want to make sure you can do that? Because what if you drain all the oil out and you can never get the cap off? That's always a big thing. So let's go ahead and jump down below. Fun story, when I bought this car, it had not been started in 12 years. 12 years, which is crazy. Total barn find. Car has just over 7,000 miles on it, but I hadn't started in the car. It hadn't been started in that long time. So that being said, when I actually went to buy and pick up this car, we didn't know if it was going to start or not. I got it started, turned it over, but before I did that, I actually added some oil to it. Besides that, the oil I don't think has ever been changed in that period of time. So this oil is 12 years old. Isn't that crazy? Probably shouldn't be running it through. Let's dump out the oil and see what we find. All right, back underneath the Lotus. This is the Moroso oil pan. That's the drain right there. So we're gonna do lefty-loosey on that. I don't know what size that is. It's probably 17, but I'm gonna do an open-ended adjustable crescent wrench and do lefty-loosey on that and then drain it out. Yours won't look like this because this is aftermarket, but it'll be the same, and it's probably gonna be a 14 millimeter. That's what I assume because it's usually what they use on them. Sometimes they have 16 millimeters. But let's go ahead and do lefty-loosey on this and see what oil we get out of here. Alright, this is gonna be the moment of truth. My hand's gonna get dirty, but that's alright. Oh no! This is making a big mess because I had the tray up here. I'm gonna have to wipe all that down. That's so funny. I was thinking about that. I probably should have removed this tray, but it's just peeking out. It actually looks, it's making pretty good rain of oil. I didn't think it would come out this far. Look at the oil color though. It's actually really good. That makes me feel good. Yep, we're gonna wipe all this down. So I ended up removing the diffuser. I did lefty-loosey on that. That being said, we have a lot more access and the oil's not dripping on everything. So if you're doing the same thing, I'd probably recommend the same thing. I don't think the OEM oil filter, it's slanted down. This one's like level, so that's why it came straight out towards us with the pressure. I did want to say that there is so much oil in this 2ZZ because of the larger oil pan. This thing is almost full, and I believe this can hold 6 quarts, 5 or 6 quarts. So that being said, that's a lot of oil. I usually, when I drain 2ZZs, I usually only get like, I don't know, 4.5 quarts maybe. And even if you top it off with the 5, maybe 4.5 quarts if it's just perfect. But you know, sometimes I get 4 and a little bit more than 4. This is a ton of oil, so due to the bit larger oil pan. Another really good idea, what I just did is I just put some new oil in to flush out the rest so that you get a better drain. And you can see that's the new golden oil that's coming out of it. So that just gets all the stuff that would be at the bottom residue out. Once that finishes draining, we will then do the oil filter, and I'll show you guys how to do that. I really enjoy this tool. So this is just a few dollars that I bought many years ago. This is a socket that fits over the oil filter. This one actually just has a bolt on the end of it. I do prefer this method though. So we're gonna go down below and we're gonna do lefty-loosey with that oil filter with this tool. Very affordable. The next thing you'll wanna do is re-tighten this a little bit so that it doesn't keep on draining, so that we can move. I drained a little bit of oil because there's so much of it. we're gonna want to move that, close that so we can move the oil pan a little bit further forward. Now, up here is the oil filter, and then that's just gonna fit right over that. And then I'm gonna do a lefty-loosey on that, and I'll go ahead and set you guys down and pull that off real quick. So it looks to me that they were running a Wix, W-I-X, a Wix 5813. This is, I think, an Auto or O'Reilly's Wix. Yeah, that is Wix right there. I don't really use this brand. I don't really know much about it. I never have. I feel like this is like an O'Reilly's brand. I use K&N or Mobile One or OEM Toyota. So let's go ahead, drain all this out after we did the lefty-loosey on there and wipe all this clean. This car just keeps getting cooler and cooler. Look at that. I don't want to get oil in the camera, but that is an oil cooler. The sandwich right there. Little that runs off to the 2 oil coolers. That's so cool. Awesome. So here's the new oil filter. What I like to do is take a little bit of the castor oil and put it in there before I install that. So let's do that now. So new oil filter's on. I did just do one more dab of fresh oil in there. I'd say, like, I can't even measure it. I don't know, not very much, maybe 1/8 of a quart. I put it through there and you can hear it draining out. I just want to make sure all the junk from all the years is kind of dripping out. And it's pretty clear now. It is really clear now. It wasn't as, I mean, it was better than what it originally was, but it's clear. And then we'll go ahead and jump down. Again, I just did righty-tighty on that. And there's a new oil filter. So technically, once this bad boy finished draining, we will be able to start wiping it all down and then buttoning up and filling oil on the top. Okay, so everything down below is retightened. My goal now is to grab the oil pan. I drained some of the oil out, the top stuff, but I want to see what's down there. If there's any dirt or grime or something I should be worried about, and not driving the car too much. So that's being said, you know, 12 years of sitting there, there's got to be some kind of acid that's bad for it. So let's go ahead and see what's in the bottom. Okay, so here's the bottom. There's not much in it. Those are bubbles. All those are bubbles. I did see one piece right here, this, and this is, oh no, is that dirt? I can't tell. Sometimes you can tell and sometimes, no, that's soft. But I'm looking for like a silvery paste kind of in there, and I don't really see any of that. That being said, if there was, you'd usually see a lot of it. I did wipe the pan before I did wipe down the pan before I dumped the oil in there, so this is what was in there. That being said, I have no real big concerns of it. Alright, so the next step is to take all the oil from this big old oil jug. This is right here, you can look on it, it says 5 US quarts. We're going to use all of it. The Moroso takes about 6 quarts is what I've read online. I own this Moroso on my, what did I own it on? Oh, on my original CELICA I own one. 6 quarts is what I've always put into those. The original ones, I just put 5 quarts in, so I did have 1 extra quart, so let's go ahead and dump all 5 of this in there. You will only use 4.4 quarts, which I usually use on mine. I use about, I don't know, maybe 1/8 of a quart to rinse it out, and then I do put the rest of it in there. So that being said, I usually do use the 5 quarts. Say swing by MITCHDORE.com, grab one of my huge microfibers. I use these all the time. I love them. I know you guys like them. They're great. They're red and black. Fly with the eagles. How cool is that? It's a falcon. I love that thing. So you gotta be soaring, right? That being said, I did righty-tighty on the oil cap after I put that in there, the entire 5 quarts, and then 1 other quart. So we should have 6 quarts in there. Before I turn the car back on, I'm gonna grab my dipstick over there and a new microfiber and see what it looks like. So there is oil on here, but it always comes out really weird because the dipstick's really weird. I don't really much care for the way that the dipstick is on the Lotus. It's really weird. It's like shoved up against the firewall. The MR2 actually has it wrapped and pulled back around, which they should have done that. They could have had the dipstick come out right here. I don't know why they didn't do that. Kind of poor thought on Lotus. Anyways, that being said, there is oil in there and I am happy with it. So let's go ahead and do a nice little start and see if we get any oil leaks. oil likes. No oil leaks. Sounds really healthy. Actually sounds a lot healthier when I started this time than I did with the oil. If you, I think that happens a lot, to be honest. A lot of times I change the oil, the cars do run healthier. They like it. Imagine it being sludgy and dirty, and now it has a nice clean oil that can really flow through it really well. It's good that you put it in the oil filter so you don't get any dry starts. It really helps. So I think this is a great way to do it. I've been changing my oil like this for a very long time. And if you do it properly, you won't spin a bearing if you do it like this and there's no oil leak. If there is any kind of oil leak and it's running below 4 quarts, like 3 quarts, you run risk of getting scarring and then spinning a bearing, which no one really talks about that. But that's my experience that I've had with 2ZZs. They go has a rod knock. It's because it spun a bearing, and that's because you either didn't change the oil frequently enough, or it had lack of oil and the bearing touched the crank, which seems to happen. It happened in my case just once. No, it happened twice. I bought an engine and it had already a spun bearing, so the person that owned it before had a spun bearing, and then my turbo build had a spun bearing on it too. So it's a common occurrence, and once you spin a bearing, even if you put new bearings in there, they're probably just going to get spun again. They're not going to last very long. You have to you have to knife the crank. So at that point, it's usually better just to buy a nice used 2ZZ from Monkey Wrench Racing, or have Monkey Wrench Racing fix it for you. That's my advice. I've owned these engines for decades, a decade. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys liked it. I changed the oil. It sounds so good now. The 2ZZ sounds so healthy. I'm really happy I did that. Who knows how long that oil's been in there? It's, you know, a long time. 12 years. I don't know if he had just changed it or if he'd never even changed it. The car could have had a turbo kit on it, and that's the same oil they put it on there. So that's pretty crazy. I really love this car. It's such a rare, unique find. But that being said, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.